Hey, happy Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever day you're watching this. This is a video for anyone who's been listening to me talk and you're like, what's going on with your heart, Tina? So you may have heard me say about a month ago that I had a heart rate monitor on and I was getting my heart tested. Before I get into the results of that, I really want to tap into what's been going on for me the past 7 years and how, as Black women, I can only speak for Black women because I'm a Black woman, we tend to have this idea that we are strong. Yes, we are strong, but sometimes I tend to really use my mind over matter and say I can push through. If you know, my son was murdered 7 years ago, and even though that happened, I still pushed through doing all the things, one, to honor him and to keep myself sane. In the meanwhile, I didn't realize I was also hurting myself. So as I got to thinking about where I am today, I had to rewind and think. So everyone's body is different. Yes, I am a personal trainer. Yes, I am a life coach. But I always say coaches need coaches. Trainers need trainers. And if I recall, it was probably 8 or 9 years ago, I watched the movie What the Health. This was when I was super deep into fitness and coaching and competitions and Spartan races and everything. And I saw this movie and I was like, okay, I got to become vegan. So I was vegan for a whole 2 months. And then I was like, I'm starting to feel weak because it was very hard for me to stop eating meat. I was a very bad vegan. Taco Bell was like the main meal. My daughter had joined me at the time. We would have like bean burritos or Chinese food, broccoli and rice. Like I was a horrible vegan. So I decided, all right, Tina, you got to get the baby chickens in there. Baby chickens are eggs, if you're wondering. Fast forward, as time went on, that was about 8 or 9 years ago. Over time, I noticed several things were happening to my body. Like I was always hurt. I was always in some type of pain. I was teaching between 20 to 25 classes a week. And I didn't want to hear, well, you're old, you can't do it. I still pushed through. And I remember one time I went to see my cousin who's a doctor. And I was telling her what I eat, how I eat. And she's like, Tina, you need red meat. And I'm like, no. I did have red meat that one time. You know, it's all about the quality. So she told me where to go and get it. But then I was still feeling not so good. I remember one point my entire leg had seized up and locked on me and I was in a wheelchair. I was actually in Vegas at a conference and I was in a wheelchair because the truth of the matter is I wasn't getting enough electrolytes. Okay, as trainers, as professionals, that's only speaking of me, sometimes you forget or you don't do, or I'm kind of stubborn. But fast forward again. I'm going to fast forward to last year. Actually to my race. I did a marathon. Yes, I'm saying Paris because I'm proud of that. And I noticed as I was training, it was just very difficult. But again, I just kept pushing through. I noticed last year, it was really hard. Yes, I say hard for me to keep the weight off. And I'm like, what is going on with me? At the time, I was vegetarian. Again, trying, yes, I said try to be vegan because I want to be healthy, I want to be fit. And I was working with a girl who was vegan, and you know, that inspires you when you see people around you. It's like, well, if that person's doing it, I can do it. And then I was trying to do the whole vegan lifestyle. I mean, if you look at some of my videos, I made vegan macaroni and cheese, vegan, like, flipping well, popcorn chicken, which was cauliflower. Like, I was doing the most, but my body was fighting it. So last year, I started taking ketones, I started intermittent fasting, and I did notice I even did like a 7-day juice cleanse. I was doing everything. I was doing apple cider vinegar, and I did lose weight, but then it just kept coming back. It would go off, come off. And yes, you know, you have Mother Nature that, at least for me, my weight goes up 3 to 5, sometimes 7 pounds a month. And then I'm like, what is going on with me? What is going on? And then people started talking about trauma, how you hold trauma in your body. And as you know, I've gone through a lot of traumatides in my life. A traumedy is when the energy of a trauma and a tragedy collide. When these two things occur, life-changing instances happen. And I always say, you know, God prepared me for my biggest traumedy, which was the murder of my son. I can go back to when I was a teenager and I attempted suicide twice. I can even share domestic violence relationship that nearly killed me. or perhaps being in a mental institution for 8 weeks, being told you're never going to be out. Those were just some, you know, this is some of the traumas when I went through. So then when people were telling me, well, Tina, you have, I've done my 4 miles. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that. So when people were telling me, well, Tina, you have trauma in your body, maybe in your heart. That's what they said. They said your heart. They're like, you're hurting. Your heart is hurting. That's why it's hard for you to, to breathe, to exercise. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to go to, not a heart specialist, but, people that talk about Reiki and, traumas and all that stuff. But I know how much effort I put into my mental health. Like I do a lot. And I just could not understand. And then I guess it was like 2 months ago, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like legit, it was like such intense pain at my chest. I'm like, there's no reason why I can't run 30, like I couldn't, any activity that took to like jumping or after 30 seconds, I was in such pain. So I finally said, I'm going to go to a heart doctor. And I was very stubborn about that as well, because I'm like, okay. He says my heart has issues. What's it going to do? Give me a new heart, valves. Like, I don't want to deal with all that. So I was still stubborn about the heart thing. But I went to the heart doctor and they took blood. And they also put a heart rate monitor on me for 2 weeks. Because, if you're going to do something right, you're going to do it the correct way. So this past Monday, I went for the results of the heart rate monitor test. And thank God, I guess God knew I did not want to see that doctor because he had the worst bedside manner. I actually had a nurse practitioner. I don't remember his name, but he was the sweetest little white guy. He was a little chubby. He was so cute. So he walks in smiling and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like so happy. He said hi as soon as he walked in with a smile. That right there made me feel good. If you want to make someone feel good, look at them and smile. I'm smiling at you. Anyway, he has the papers in his hand and he sits down and he's like, okay, are you ready for some good news? And I should have known by the way he said that there was some, not so good news, because I do that all the time. I'm like, do you want the good news or the bad news first? He didn't say that. But he's like, the good news is you have an extremely healthy heart. Your heart is strong. It's pumping. Your liver's good. Your kidneys are good. Your thyroid is good. All your organs are amazing. And I'm like, okay, so why does it hurt when I run? What is that about? He said, well, you have low blood. You don't have enough blood in your body. And I'm like, huh? Like, what are you talking about, Willis? That's what I felt like saying. And he said, your hemoglobin numbers are very low. It's supposed to be a 15 and you're at an 8. And I'm like, okay. And then he's like, well, do you have low iron? I said, yeah, I've known about my low iron. I have known about my low iron. Again, the stubborn Tina for years. I can't tell you how many doctors said, take iron pills. And stubborn Tina's like, I don't want to take iron pills, because they say when you take iron pills, it makes it hard for you to use the bathroom. And I already have issues using the bathroom where I have to take fiber. So I didn't take the fiber. I didn't take the iron pills. So he's like, yeah, your iron is low. And pretty much I have to get that number up. That's why my heart hurts so much. And I was like, okay, so how do we fix this? And we had a very long conversation. And as he spoke, it really opened up my eyes even more to fitness, because when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to losing fat, when it comes to being healthy, and that's my ultimate goal, right? To be healthy. I want all of my clients to be fit, healthy, and blessed. But you have to remember, you have to do what's best for your body. So he starts off by saying, I told him how I've been eating red meat for the past 2 weeks. He's like, that's good, because there's some movie on Netflix, hopefully my daughter will tell me it again, that talks about your blood, like your blood type, how important it is. So I started eating red meat 2 weeks ago, which is very, very hard. I've added more baby chickens. And then he says, orange juice. Actually, he's talking about vitamin D first and iron. Get the pills. I said all the pills that are in my cabinet that I never take. So I was like, okay, I'll start taking those. And then we were talking about like the amount of iron each person should have. And I said, well, I should have this amount, right? And he's like, well, Tina, for your body, you need a lot more. And then he was giving me more ideas of what I could eat, like yogurt with berries and granola. And he said, you know what's really good? Children's cereal. I was like, I actually stopped him. I was like, hold up, wait a minute. I literally stopped him. I said, are you saying Fruity Pebbles? He said, yes. I said, hold on. I said, the only time I eat Fruity Pebbles is when I'm sneaking it at my sister's house, because my sister always has it. So whenever I visit her, I sneak it and have it because I love it so much. And he said, yes. I said, well, what about all the sugar? I said, isn't sugar bad for you? He's like, yes. And then I started talking about how sugar is more addictive than crack, which is true. But he's like, for your body, Tina, all the ingredients, all the things that the cereal have, like folic acid, niacin, like all these things. He said, read the ingredients. That is what your blood needs. And he said, for medicinal purposes, you can have cereal. So I was like, Fruity Pebbles. And then he said, orange juice. I was like, orange juice. Like, I love orange juice. It's starting to rain, so I better walk a little quicker. Plus my hair. Lord, please slow down the rain. So I've been depriving myself of orange juice for years because I was like, the sugar. And he's like, your blood needs it. So long story short, to sum it all up, my heart is amazing, but my blood, he said, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take at least 3 months. And today when I was in class, I was like, I'm going to push through, trying to lift weights, knowing I shouldn't. Like, part of me wants to run right now because it's raining, but I'm not, because I might collapse. With that being said, I am focusing super hard on all humans' health. Just really being an advocate of doing what's best for your body. No processed foods. Super simple, right? And right now, before you put the fork in your mouth, look at what's on it. Are you feeding your body energy, love, or are you feeding it hate and pain and stress? My goal these days is to just fill it with protein, and healthy fat. No, I did not have steak yesterday. I just couldn't. I did have some fish. Today, I probably won't have steak again because I had it 3 days ago. I'm going to stop talking. Hope this video has enlightened you on what I'm going through so you understand. I just didn't want to have to share this story with each individual person and give you details. My hair is getting wet. All right. Bye.